So these are the kinds of opportunities that I want for our farmers here in upstate New York. This state of ours ranks second among states in wine production. It ranks third among all states for dairy production. And it ranks third for overall organic food production. And a lot of that is because of what's happening right here in the southern tier. Right? And those kind of things can't coexist with drilling and fracking operations, which would use this land as their factory floor and would industrialize our food shed and threaten the southern tier's agricultural industry with chemical contaminants. And we know that loss of farmland leads to decreased access to fresh and local food. There's good data on this, and we know that that kind of loss has public health consequences, and that those public health consequences are costly ones. And so I really believe that we need a new kind of leadership here in Broome County that will be able to say to our farmers here that if you have a farm problem, if you have trouble feeding us and you can't feed your own family or retire or send your kids to school because you're trying to feed us, then let's solve the farm problem. And let's figure out ways to supplement farm income that doesn't require you to think of the bedrock below your feet as a casino that you can break apart in order to make a living. That there are other choices. In Illinois, we thought we had a choice between abject poverty and going out of business and turning your farmland into an incinerator to burn industrial garbage. But it turned out there was a third path. There's a third path here, and it's the one that our candidate Tariq is blazing, which is why I'm here tonight. So I want to close. I'm just really proud and honored to be in support of Tariq and his vision for this place. I mean, we are here in the epicenter of the epicenter of the epicenter of fracking, I think, right? I mean, the Marcellus Shale is the epicenter of fracking for the Northeast, and the southern tier is the one ring of the bullseye further toward the center of that epicenter, and then right here in Broome County is the dead center. So whoever is the elected representative that guides the future of Broome County holds more than just the future of this place in his hands. That person holds the entire future of fracking of New York, which is the state that everyone is now looking towards, right? I mean, I'm a science advisor for a group of environmental health organizations in the European Union, all 27 nation states, and they're taking a very close look at shale gas exploration and deciding in many of those nation states to close the door on fracking, and they are looking towards our resistance movement here in New York as a model for some of what they're doing. And so much of what's going to happen with energy depends on what we do here in New York, and the way Broome County goes is the way that I think the rest of New York is going to go. So what we're trying to do here has reverberations not just for our own state, but really, truly around the world. So my little contribution for all of this is to sign some and sell some books for you. That's what I do. I used to be a lab bench scientist, but then I decided at some point that there was so much science piled up in the great, a great wall of scientific evidence in the peer-reviewed public scientific literature that nobody was reading, that instead of adding more bricks to the wall, I wanted to take some of those bricks before the public and translate that science for people, and bring hopefully some funny and interesting stories to that science. So for the last 15 or so years, I've been writing books about the environment and about health. And so I have a trilogy of books on environmental health. That's what I won the Heinz Award for. The most recent one of which is Raising Elijah. So I brought 20 copies of the books with me. Authors don't own their own books, you might know. And so I bought them at a 70% of retail, and I'm going to sell them to you for over retail for $30 each. And I'm going to give the whole profits over to Tarek. So I'm going to pay the 70%, and you're going to pay the 30%. Right? I can do that because I just got an honorarium for a few $100s from Harvard for this lecture I gave yesterday. So Harvard University is sort of indirectly subsidizing Tarek's campaign. So to give you a little taste of this book, I'm just going to close now with a couple of paragraphs from chapter 9. And I was trying to find a section to kind of be thematically consistent with our focus on food tonight. So instead of an agricultural passage, however, I chose the scene of a birthday party. So the food item here is a birthday cake. And it goes like this. To the index of things felt acutely by parents, but imperceptible to everyone else, let's add birthday cakes, the sadness of. I'm referring to the moment that comes after the candles are blown out and before someone stumbles over to the wall switch and flips the lights back on. After the song is sung, before the cake is cut. The moment when the waxy smoke balloons up from the red-tipped wicks into the sudden darkness, and the mother of the birthday child realizes that there will never again be in this room a 4-year-old boy, or a 7-year-old girl, or a 6-year-old boy, or a 9-year-old girl, or an 8-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl. Was it ever thus? Was the sadness of birthday cakes a secret known to my own parents and to their parents too? To be sad about birthday cakes is to lament the speed at which the earth circles the sun, which is a helpless, silly sort of sadness. It doesn't last long, especially now that the lights are on again and before you is a laughing child, boy or girl, in possession of manners and psychomotor skills, who is doling out cake and ice cream to the neighbor kids and hamming it up for the cameras. It's never the birthday kid, but the other one, the younger or older sibling, who is trying to be a good sport about it all, who looks over and notices. Mama, why are you crying? Oh, someday you'll find out. And unbeknownst to him or her, that very sentence was also my unspoken wish, delivered in the seconds earlier as the mighty exhale blew out the flames that number the years already gone by. It's the same wish for every cake. Oh, let them grow up. Let them find out. Let it go on. A fine point on that sentiment. The ongoingness of life requires sustainable farm systems. To require sustainable farm systems here in the southern tier and to pay farmers well for growing our food and to provide safe and abundant food that's uncontaminated requires closing the door on a carcinogen-dependent, accident-prone industry that is going to destroy and poison our farmland. The right person to lead that charge is our candidate tonight, and I'm very happy to be here in support of him, and I urge all of us to act in ways that reflect our knowledge that the whole world is watching what is happening here in upstate New York. We are making history, and it's a history that is potentially a worldwide transformation. And it's an amazing struggle and a fight to be part of it. I've never felt more engaged in a political and a human rights struggle as I do today. If I were living here in upstate New York in the 1830s, I would hope that I would be helping run the Underground Railroad. If I were living in New York in the 1840s and 50s, I would hope I'd be up in Seneca Falls helping to win the right to suffrage for women. But that's not where we are in time. We are right now in New York, in this place, and we are going all together to transform the economic and energy system of upstate New York in a way that leads to a future that our children and our grandchildren will look back on and will be able to say, I was part of that human rights movement. What an amazing thing to be able to say. Thank you, Tariq, and thanks everyone. And I'll thank you.